Mark Norman, welcome
Hey,
to An
hey.
Actor Spares. How you doing, brother?
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, Fatty.
Ah,
It's a
man.
nice studio you got here.
Yeah, thanks, man. It means the world. Shout out to Gotham Podcast Studios for taking care of An Actor Despairs. But fuck all that. We're here to talk about you, man. Mark, I say this with the utmost sincerity. I think you're in my top 3 greatest of all time.
Wow, that's silly.
No, I mean that, man.
Your Pryors, your Carlins, your Rock, your Chappelle.
Yeah, I hear that, but
Louis
like
Burke.
Chappelle would be in there.
Yeah.
You know, Conan O'Brien has been a real big hero, but like,
I like Conan.
as far as the wit and off the cuff, you're right there, man.
Ah, jeez.
I think if it weren't for COVID right now, you'd be selling out theaters and fucking.
Oh, you're crazy.
No, man.
Come on.
And I love that you're doing the whole rooftop thing and
Trying.
getting work out there. I'm coming to see you in a few days.
Oh, great.
But
yeah.
when this airs on Monday, that'll be. Last night, he was great. Did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I bombed. I got heckled. I got tased. No, but the funny thing about all those roofs and parks and parking lot, whatever it is young kids will hit me up, like 22-year-old dudes at NYU or wherever the hell, and they're like, hey, I got a camera. I'm a fan. I love comedy. Do you mind if I shoot you? And we'll put it on YouTube. I said, come on out.
That's awesome.
I answer every DM, every email. That's why I'm here. And, yeah, you know, I'm lazy, so I figure if I can outsource and people want to work with me, I go, bring it on.
Yeah,
fucker.
I'm
So,
super lazy too.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we just spoke about this off air that, you know, you've spoken about New Orleans and your history there. So why don't we do something a little different and start with you getting to New York? You came
Sure.
here for New York Film Academy, right?
I came here for New York Film Academy when I was in college. I took a year off of college. I went to 3 colleges. I kept failing out. And I said, well, maybe film school is the answer. My
Yeah.
parents were like, all right, let's try that, you fucking loser. Jesus. So I went to New York Film Academy one summer. I guess I didn't take a year off. I did it for a whole summer. And I just, being like 19 or 20, living in New York and being young and the whole thing and the shooting movies and working with actors and writing scripts and going to school, it was unbelievable. And
You enjoyed your experience. 'Cause
I did.
I did in high school. They had it on the Universal backlot.
Oh,
So I
wow.
did it 3 summers in a row. And it was like 3 months of living in your own apartment, just fucking
Yes.
drinking 4 Locos and
Right.
yeah, or Sparks was the thing back in the day.
Nicholas Sparks. He's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it was great, too, because, you know, you live in New York and you're 19, 20, whatever, and you got these other students from, like, Poland and Croatia and Australia and Japan and all this shit, South Africa, so you're meeting all these weirdos and different cultures and all that, so that was fun. And you're shooting movies. You're, like, in Union Square, you're, like, next to a hobo shooting heroin, and you're
Yeah.
like, hold on, I got to get this shot, you know? So it was so fun, but then I moved back after the school ended. The school was a racket, let's be honest.
Yeah, well, you know who owns it?
No.
Fucking Brett Ratner.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, speaking of-
There you go.
But so, man, I know in like 2006 you started doing comedy in New Orleans. When you
Yeah.
came here, what made you decide to do NYFA? Like, was that just a way of kind of trying to find a different method of education that was
Yeah.
more focused on what you wanted?
I was rudderless. I was a dumb, drunk New Orleans kid with nothing going on. I couldn't keep a job. I couldn't stay in school. My parents hated me. My parents are successful. My brother's like a genius, and I was like the black cunt of the family. So I was like, God, I got to figure something out. So they're like, try this. Went to film school. Started doing open mics in New York at night because I was like, this movie thing's not really working out. I hated actors. I hated working with
Yeah.
them. It's the lighting.
I'm an
guy,
actor,
grip.
the
Oh,
worst.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, it was just a
Yeah.
lot of pretentious and like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. What's my motivation? I was like, and,
fuck you.
as a comic, that's the exact opposite of how you want to talk and
Yeah.
feel and whatever. So I started doing open mics at night, and I was like, this is fun. Then the school ended. You run out of money. I had to move back to New Orleans, and I was wildly depressed. I didn't know why. I was like, man, I'm so bummed. It was because I was back in my parents' house in my
Yeah.
childhood race car bed, living in my parents' home, and I had New York. I had the world by the balls.
Was that the bed and breakfast home?
No, we moved out of there.
Oh, thank God.
2 guys broke in and stuck guns in my parents' face. So after
Oh, that was
eventually
enough.
Eventually
Yeah.
they moved out. Yeah, so yeah, I just said I'm going back to New York, but now I tried this comedy thing. Let me kind of try to see if I can get it going in New Orleans. So we would drive to 3 hours to Lafayette or Baton Rouge or Shreveport, wherever the hell had a mic.
Yeah.
And that was back when you looked in the phone book, like, oh, there's a comedy club in Shreveport, you know?
Wow.
And so I just fell in love with that culture. Like, I'm drinking with my friends. You got road beers on the way to the show. You bomb at the
Yeah.
show. You talk about how you bombed, and then you come back and you write new jokes and you figure it out. And then then you start meeting all these comedians. These guys are like-minded, just like you. They're weirdos. They're analytical. They're cunty and gay and weird and choochy and Jews. So then I just said, well, I got to go back to New York, and I moved back finally.
Nice. So you were making money from the open mics?
No, I was like a waiter. I was a construction gopher.
Dude.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Furniture mover. You name it.
So then when you came back, I know you have a suite or did have a suite apartment. Was that the first one you got?
No. When I moved back to New York, my parents said, you can move to New York. That's the one good thing about having kind of, I don't want to say neglectful, but like, do whatever you want kind of parents, because they're like, you're going to go move to New York with no money? Go nuts. Get out of here. But you have to finish college. So I finished it online.
Oh,
which
nice.
is a fucking joke, by the way. You know, you got your book open, you're answering the test, with the book. It was so easy. It's a racket. It's fucking nothing. So finished online, lived in an apartment in Crown Heights, way out in Brooklyn.
Back when it was real, Crown Heights.
Yes. It was Eastern Parkway was here. It was all Hasidic Jew on this side and all Caribbean black on this side, roti, beef tongue, all this shit. And I lived on the black side. And all these Jews would drive by at like 4 in the morning because I'd come home drunk. And they're like, what are you doing? You're on the wrong side. I would go, I'm not Jewish. And they would slide that van door closed and peel off.
Oh,
yeah.
I live in Williamsburg. I know them well.
Oh, yeah. So, I just moved back in. I got mugged a bunch. My landlord died of AIDS, which was a whole thing. Like we didn't have any hot water. We didn't have any electricity every now and then. But you can't complain to a guy with AIDS.
Yeah.
The guy's skin and bones. Yeah, I'm like, I got no hot water. He's like, I got no T cells. Fuck you. So he died. Pedro, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
And, so brutal. Just getting into the city every day took like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was the only white guy on the train every day. It was a good time. And, finally kept moving, kept shaking, and worked my way up.
So let's kind of, for all the comedians or just aspiring comedians, talk to me about how you kind of navigated the terrain, because like, God, I think that when I was coming up in 2008, the open mic was at that place on Avenue A. It was like a restaurant bar. It was like right there at 10th and A or something.
10th and A.
Or no, 4th and A. 4th and A.
4th and A. Hold on. Not Niagara.
No, but it's like right up the street from Niagara.
Sidewalk Cafe.
Yes. Bam!
6th and A.
Second try.
Yes. Yeah, there was that. There was Mo Pitkin's was another spot that Jimmy Fallon would always be drunk at. That was fun.
Wow.
But, Sidewalk Cafe was a cool joint. I think that's gone. Who knows?
It is gone.
Man, everything's gone.
I know. The one time I used to live at 4th and C back before they had artisanal mayonnaise spots.
Yeah.
And so, it was crazy, but, Sidewalk, randomly you'd see, Jude Law or someone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of bizarre like that.
I saw Matt Dillon there once, and he kept rearranging the sugar packets and, the salt shakers. I think he's got OCD or something.
Or took an Adderall.
Or he was coked up, yeah.
So then, did you have a mentor or someone? Were you, how did you kind of infiltrate, if you will, the scene and have it figured out? Because like you said, this was 2008. I mean, this was iPhone 1 era.
Maybe. We couldn't afford that. Also, we were so poor. We got bed bugs. I mean, I couldn't even afford the exterminator to get rid of the bed bugs. That's where we were at. And it was like a gang of us. There was 12, 13 comics who kind of knew each other a little bit, and you start, there's some fights and whatever, but then you become friends, and it's like a boot camp. And comedy was so much harsher then. And I know I sound like old man douche here, but it was vicious. The comics would be like, you're a hack, you got to change that. That's no good. Chris Rock has that bit. Get that out of here. I got heckled by my own friends a few times.
What the fuck?
Now it's like, hey, we got to be inclusive. Everybody's in on this. We love you all. You're all funny,
Yeah.
But back then it was like, he's the funniest. He sucks. That guy's a hack, So it was a lot harsher, and it was phone really was not a thing. So you had to word of mouth, talk to people. Where's this place? You're out in Queens.
Yeah.
Where's that Caribbean restaurant we're looking for? And the guy's like, you got to take that, it's all that shit. And I got lost on the train a million times. There's a Broadway in Queens, so you're I'm going to Broadway, and then the F goes there, and then before you know it, you're in Forest Hills. But tough times, and just learning about every single open mic, trying to get creative. This is a music open mic. I'll go there because there's no asshole comics who are going to judge me. I can kill with these musicians because they're not jaded.
Yeah.
So you go there, and then you try this place. Oh, this is a fucking mic in the back of a hair salon that then you can do your laundry at or whatever. There's all these weird topsy-turvy venues and spots. So just did that for, 10 years until I caught something. I'm
curious how many of those comedians that were fucking dicks are still doing it.
Most of them now write on shows because they got married, they got a kid, they're stable,
money,
they need health care, they need tax break or car, they live in L.A., and there's like 4 of us who are just still doing straight stand-up, grinding it out on the road, writing new shit.
As a guy who mainly goes in for drama roles, comedy is the hardest thing in the world. So talk to me about how did you find your voice? Was it just Was it just a lot of fucking falling on your face? And
yeah, tons of bombing. I mean, I would wake up I got that mic tonight at the Village Lantern. Oh, they're so mean there. They're so cruel. But you knew you had to do it. You wake up in fear. And, a lot of bombing, a lot of getting made fun of. I remember one time I was such a Seinfeld fan that I kind of mimicked him in a way. Most comics pick a guy, and there's a lot of David Tells.
Which must be surreal now opening for him and fucking. I love this sketch about that guy that fucked you at the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, true story.
Dude, I think you got to upload more of those, and that's going to be your show. Fucking
really?
Netflix is going to be like, yeah, Mark Norman needs a show.
Oh, hey, well, I've tried to pitch.
Mark Norman needs a show.
They haven't seemed interested thus far, but hey,
I still think that Enos thing, if you did maybe an alternate reality where she's still a figure in your life.
I think that's the move.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Oh, dude, Big Tuesday. I've looked up to you for so long, man. I think I discovered you in 2015 or something.
Wow, you're the one.
You were the. I think the Village Voice put you as the comedian on
the
watch.
That's right.
And then I was just following your career, man. And then every time I'd see you on one of the late night,
Oh, yeah.
I like Conan more because you can get a bit raunchy on there.
Yes.
And, dude, that one, I think it was the first time he did the trigger joke.
Oh, yeah.
I sent it to 300 people on my phone.
That one actually went viral. That was my 8th one.
Yeah.
And none of them really caught on, and that one hit. It was weird.
And that New Day Cleveland thing.
Oh, that hit
some of your
too.
finest work.
Thank you. Again, you never know. That was at 8 a.m. I'm hungover. I hated it. I didn't want to be there. And, just clicked. I didn't know they were going to put that on YouTube.
Yeah. So then, talk to me about the, I guess, progression of going from open mics to then at some point getting maybe paid.
Yeah.
What is that, $20? Is it open mics is something, I don't know how it works for comedians. Is it years that you have to do it before you can start getting some money? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, open mics will never pay you. That's why they're open mics.
Well,
you're allowed to come.
Promoter style, right? You have to bring 50 friends. And
no, that's a bringer. That's a bringer show, which I never did because I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
I came here, without from New Orleans. So, yeah, bringers are pretty shiesty. The clubs that do that, it's kind of a hook. It's a grift. You go,
the store does that in one of their rooms.
I think all clubs do it because they just need people to come in and buy drinks and buy chicken fingers. But I never did it because I didn't know enough people, and I feel horrible asking people to do anything for me. I can't do it. Even now, I'm like, hey, can you do this? Can you shoot a video with your phone right here? I'm like, I can't do it. But so the open mic scene, it's brutal, it's vicious, because the thing about comedy is, comics are narcissists and they're only worried about their shit. That's why we got into comedy. It's just me, you know? And then you got to go sit and wait your turn, but you don't care about the guy on stage. You're just worried about you. But it doesn't work. It can't work that way, because now when you're on, we're not going to laugh at you, motherfucker, because you didn't laugh at me. So fuck you and fuck me. And
some bitter motherfuckers.
You know, you go to a comedy club and it's a fucking full house of people paying to see some jokes and ready to laugh and excited and drunk, and that's an open mic is the opposite of that. It's just you're performing for other comedians. So it rarely works. It's brutal. You almost just have to do it just so you learn how to stand up there without trembling. Yeah. That's really, and get the words out clean. It's almost like sparring. So you just got to do it just because you're not going to actually fight like that, but you just got to do it to learn how to take a hit, duck, dodge, bob, weave, whatever. Yeah. So, it was hell, but then you start doing more and more and more, and the comics will now be like, okay, he's good, she's bad, he's bad, and the comics talk, so they start running shows, like booked audience shows. Then you go do those. Now you get $20 and a drink. Hey, pretty good.
Fuck yeah.
That's a step up. Then you audition at a club. You get
like the Cellar or something.
Like the Cellar, Caroline's, Gotham, whatever it is. Then you get passed at a club or not passed, And then once you get that, now you're getting paid work on the reg. And then they say, put your avails in for the month. I'm like, I'm available every day. Like all 30 of them, I'm in, So then you get into a club. Then you try to get into another club. Now you got 2 clubs under your belt. So you're getting some good stage time in front of real people. Then 3 clubs, and 4 clubs, and 5 clubs. Then you hope a headliner takes you on the road. I opened for Amy Schumer for like 6 years.
Before she took off, right?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. She just shot like a rocket out of hell and just went. I saw the comedy clubs, I saw the theaters, and then eventually the Garden.
Same thing happened to my friend Rachel Brosnahan. Just like,
oh, I've heard of her.
Yeah, Meisel, Mrs. Meisel.
Yeah. Oh, wow, you know her?
Yeah, she's one of my closest friends. Yeah.
And
here I am fucking hosting a podcast.
Hey.
But I'm happy to.
I know. The show business, it's a fickle bitch.
Yeah.
But, hey, congrats. She's quite a hot dame.
Yeah, she is. She's always been. But, yeah, man. Well, fucking tell me, when did you and Joe connect? How...
Well, we were both jumping around the scene. He was more established than I was. He was opening for Dane Cook back in the 80s.
No
and all this
way.
Shit. Not really, but he was opening for Dane Cook, and he was a big guy in
back
Boston.
in the fucking Dane Cook Arena days?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And he knew Dane and all that, like DePaulo and Gary Goldman and all these people, because that Boston crew is so funny and they're tight. And so I just knew of him, but he was ahead of me, and we kind of started making friends, and we realized we had the same manager, and we were both booze bags. So we just started getting hammered all the time and hanging out. We both loved Seinfeld. We both loved Chris Rock. We both talked about this, talked about that. And one day I had a gig in Boston. He had a gig in Cambridge or one or the other, and he said, I'll drive you. And we just hit it off on this 5-hour car ride, exchanged numbers, started doing the road a little bit, and then we would hang out at the Cellar or wherever till like 4 in the morning. Comics love to just go to a diner and chit-chat.
Yeah, totally.
And he was like, we should do a podcast where we just shit talk with all these other comics.
Fucking best. Dude, I say this with sincerity, man, because I'm sure I know you got a girlfriend, but I don't. I've been dating some real aliens.
Well, you're a handsome guy.
Yeah, so are you. And let's fuck. And,
all right.
But, yeah, man, like, it's been such a dark time for me, and you and Joe's show has saved me.
Wow.
And, man, like, when you put out to Lunch, I was like, I'm never one of those guys that, like, does the time thing, but I stayed on there, and I donated $100.
What?
And then, like, my heart, dude, I just saw, because, like, to give context to people listening, a lot of people wouldn't, like, fund that. Like, it's
nobody.
Yeah, so you funded it yourself.
Yeah, had to.
And I do the same thing with this show.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, but I'm like, 50 grand in debt.
I feel horrible about this now.
Oh, no,
Let me donate it.
No, it's all you. It's all you.
What about you guys?
Yeah.
I want a slurp of tequila.
Yeah, but, dude, that was like, I've watched that 5,000 times. I listened to every Tuesday. Yeah.
Geez. Well, I'm
and
glad.
dude, seeing you make your money back on that was just like, it gave me hope.
Hey, thanks, man. Well,
yeah.
I don't think a lot of these networks realize that they're creating their own competition.
Yeah.
Because they won't have us. There's a lot of killers out there, and they won't put us on because of whatever optics. I don't know. But they're building this world on YouTube of comedy that's like insane, like
superior
quality-wise. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna, I try to keep it positive, but I think some of the shittiest comedians get specials.
I know, it's comical.
I'm like, and they like, you're the best joke writer, and your delivery is amazing. And I'm not trying to suck your dick, but maybe I am. And but it's just like, I don't know, man. This comedy thing, it's hard for me to make sense of it as an outsider,
Well, we're being hit right now so hard with this, like, this racial tension and identity politics,
Yeah.
and it's like we're in like the epicenter of it, much like the White House is the epicenter of COVID.
Yeah.
This is like we're right in the eye of the storm. So it's like you see people getting a special, you're like, whoa. Nobody would even talk to that person, 5 years ago because they were so bad.
Yeah.
And now they have an hour on Netflix, and this guy can't get one. That guy, he's a beast.
Yeah.
So it's all very confusing, but it's just like everybody's just covering their ass, and it's the same with COVID. Everybody's like, oh, you got to do this restriction, that restriction. You're like, really? We kind of proved that it was wrong. Fauci said it doesn't matter. He's like, I'm not getting sued.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with Netflix. They're like, I'm not getting sued. I'm not getting canceled. I'm not getting yelled at. So everybody's just towing the line and getting in line and, following the rules. But it can't last. But the people know. You get it. You go to the right source. You go, this person is funny. I'll just watch that. I don't care if it's on this channel.
Yeah.
You just find what's funny.
Yeah. Well, you're the best, man. And you're the future of comedy. I really believe that, man. Like, top 3. Joe's in my top 10. You know?
Man, I'm honored. I mean, I can't take a compliment, but I appreciate it.
No, man, it's awesome.
Table.
So tell me, when you started to get, from open mics to those bookings and auditioning for those clubs, what was that segue? Did that get you an agent and a manager?
No, I actually did a comedy contest, which are notoriously horrible.
Did Just for Laughs kind of thing, or
no? That's a festival. This was like a contest at a club in Philadelphia.
Wow!
So I would take the bus out. The what is that? The Chinese bus? What is that?
Yeah.
Hung Flu.
What
is that one
the
called?
one in Chinatown.
Yeah,
the one where they're doing meth drops.
They got a cage of chickens in the back, and it was wild. And what is that thing? Feng Hua. Yeah. And it's, $4 to go to Philly or whatever. So I would take that, enter the contest, do my set, and then take it back home, get home at 3 a.m, and then go to work at 9 every day. So it was hell, but I did pretty well in the contest. And the owner of the club was like, you didn't advance, but we like your stuff. Do you want a feature for this guy, Tommy Johnigan? And I was like, sure. I didn't know what a feature meant. I didn't know how much time I had to do. I just said yes. And so he's like, come back on this date. You're booked. I look up Tommy Johnigan. He's got a Letterman, the whole thing. This guy's killer. Great comic. And we chatted. I knew nothing. I was lying the whole time. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I was going short every night. I was supposed to do 20. I would do like 12 minutes and then be like, where are you from, Dickless? What's up with that guy? Just trying to beat the clock. And he's like, hey, you're good. You have a manager? I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, I'll give you mine. So I got his manager, also Joe List's manager. And then that's how I got a manager. And then my manager flew the coop, moved to England. So then I got a different manager, and then so on and so on. So the whole thing has just been a catch-as-catch-can kind of thing.
And so when you were starting out and doing the open mics, was it true you were doing like janitor work at a building?
Oh, yeah. I worked as a janitor for 2 years to the day, and it was a good gig.
It was.
It paid horribly, but I worked Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so now I got the day off to write.
Even though you got that online bachelor's?
Yeah. Well, I did temping for a while too, but I hate temping. Yeah. I'd rather clean shit than temp because when you temp, it's your first day every day.
Yeah.
It's brutal, and nobody knows you, and you're like learning the ropes, and everybody hates you because you're a temp, and I reeked of booze. But the janitor thing, they're like, mop the floor, take out the garbage, clean this, put that together. But I was known as a porter.
Oh.
So I had to do all this jack of all anal shit where they'd be like, oh, can you hang up a whiteboard and put that desk together and change the fuse box? And I was like, you got it. And I'd be like Googling, how do you change a fuse box?
Yeah.
And, I had my headphones in. I was left to my own devices. So I was just listening to comedy podcasts, listen to my set from last night, write shit. Every lunch I would go right in the boiler room, which was it was like out of a movie. I mean, there's a giant vat, big boiler. It's from 1901. I'm in there. It's dark. There's a swinging light bulb and a fucking cobweb. And I'm going, Uber, huh? That's weird, And I'm writing and talking. And then every now and then somebody would come in and be like, oh, sorry, wrong room. And I was like, holding a pen like a microphone. Oh, it was so embarrassing. But yeah, good gig. And then I started going on the road with Schumer, and she pays well. She's very generous. And I watched her escalate, and as she escalated, she paid more, and we got to see more cities. We went international, and
Did she help you out with getting better rep, or?
I think so. Yeah. Just saying, hey, I opened for this giant headliner. It sounds pretty legit, and then eventually started headlining in my own right, and then
was it pre-train wreck or post-train?
Pre.
Wow.
I saw pre-TV show, pre-everything.
Damn.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, she was doing half-filled clubs called the Funny Farm, and then we'd ride go-karts after it because it was like in a Chuck E. Cheese. And then we'd go from there to sold-out club, adding shows, packing it out. And she was like, I don't want to work on Sunday, but I have to do a Sunday show. Can he headline? And I'll just go home. And they were like, all right. So I was now headlining on a Sunday, which was like, 45 minutes, but you learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And then eventually she's doing theaters. I'm open for a theater, and then it's arenas and hockey stadiums and shit like that, and then the Garden, and then Carnegie Hall. So the whole thing was pretty wild, and the whole time I was a boozy, poor, retard. I didn't know what was going on. I had no class. I had no knowledge of anything, and I was just faking it till I made it the whole way through.
Yeah, same, man. I was so bad, I had to get sober 4 years ago.
Oh, there you go.
I still do, like, mushrooms, but yeah.
Love a shroom.
Yeah,
that's
shrooms are the
medicine.
best. Yeah, for real. But then, man, I don't want you to give away your secrets, but
I got no secrets. I'm an open coffin.
I love your joke writing. For you, it seems like a lot of your jokes come from your life.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. I guess they could just be jokes. But
They do a little bit, but it's also, I got a nutty brain that will just glom onto something. Like, I'll just go headphone. I'll be in the shower like headphones. Aren't all phones headphones? You put your phone up here, that's a headphone. Then you got an ear, that's a phone. Like, they're all phones.
Yeah.
All headphones are phones. So, I'll just do that and, like, escape and go off into some magic, wacky land. And before I know it, like, we're out of hot water. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm a prune. I got to get out of here. I got to go do a podcast. So my brain will just go and go. I don't know why. Maybe because I had a weird childhood where we didn't have any fucking running water. And I was terrified to leave the house, so maybe I just learned how to live in my brain, but I'll just analyze a topic.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
Works for comedy.
No, like I saw the thing you posted the other day about the empty stadiums and putting the statue.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's such a fucking great joke, man.
Thanks. It didn't do that well online, but I
What?
appreciate it.
Oh, dude. I'm going to give it like 5 comments after this.
Oh, hey, come on.
Yeah. But, dude, so tell me. When you started getting the Comedy Store and Caroline's and Gotham, did that give you a sense of safety? Like, did you?
No, because you get $25, maybe $75 on a weekend. So it was nice, but I still kept my job for a while.
Okay.
And then headlining work gets you like $1,200 for a weekend. So that was like, whoa, hey, I'm making like $1,000, but you still gotta get a rental car, get a plane ticket, get a place to stay, eat.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, you're still counting pennies. You're still check to check, but. Eventually, you just start figuring out other ways. You get a podcast that kind of has some income, maybe.
Yeah.
And, some road work, some one-nighters, and you just make it work, just patching shit together. And then you get on like a, Opie and Jim or Jim and Sam.
Yeah,
or whatever the
yeah.
hell. You do one of those, and maybe somebody hears it and they check you out. They check out your podcast. Then eventually, like maybe a Rogan or maybe a
you did it like
Kreischer.
4 times in 1 year, didn't you?
Twice in like 4 months. It just went well. We clicked. He's a sweet guy. He loves comedy and he loves anybody who's like trying to do good comedy themselves.
Yeah.
He's all about like fuck the man, even though he just sold a Spotify deal. But he's all about like fuck, but he's taking their money. He's like, hey, I'll give you a product. I'll take $1 million, $100 million, whatever. But I think he respects that, and thank God, because the Tonight Show, I've done that 3 times. That doesn't make a fucking dent. Done 9 Conans, nobody cares. I've done Corden, Colbert. I thought that was like
John Oliver.
Yeah. I was like, I did a half hour on Comedy Central, did an hour on Comedy Central, then I did an album with 2 albums with them, and I'm like, here we go, and then nothing. So the whole thing is shifted, and it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because it sucks because you're like, I got on Fallon.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody cares. I slaved over that 5 minutes, nobody gives a shit. And then you're like, but I can make my own shit. I have YouTube, I have Instagram, I have a phone, I have a camera, so it's weird in that way. So you gotta say, I used to rely on Netflix and Comedy Central and just wait for them to call. But then you're like, I'm getting older. I'm pushing 40 here.
Yeah.
I can barely get it up. I'm getting older. Let's get it going. So fuck it. Let's go YouTube. And look at a guy like Schultz or Tim Dillon or all these guys who are just like making their own way. And then eventually Ari had a show called This Is Not Happening.
Yeah, I love that show. And your
Great
story
show.
on that was
thanks.
amazing.
Thanks.
I love Ari, man. I get it.
I like Ari, too.
Yeah,
he's a nut, and he's hideous in the face, but I love the guy. And he just said, hey, I have this show. And Comedy Central said, no, we don't want to work with you. Who are you? And then he put the show online. It got huge numbers, and then they bought it.
Oh,
so they
no
don't
way.
fucking know what's going on. You got to show them what's what.
You told the fucking car story on the bridge, right?
Yeah. That was a New Orleans story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, high school was a wild time.
So I know we talked about how we wouldn't do too much, but I guess it's imperative if we could do a brief summary of your childhood. You had a pretty wacky one.
Yeah.
Your parents bought basically a decrepit property.
Yep.
or you tell it. I don't want to be the asshole.
Can you pull up Google here? No, I'm saying because we can see a photo. If you can see my old shitbox house.
Raul, can you throw Google up?
I don't know if he can throw it on the TV.
Yeah.
He's giving you the weird eyes.
Okay.
He's got a mask on. It's hard to read. But yeah. When I was 5, 6, they bought this mansion. My dad got a wild hair up his ass, and it was falling apart. Literally, like the plaster was hanging, and the windows were cracked, and there was like duvetine over the windows and shit. It was flapping in the wind. We had termites. It was a horrible neighborhood, and we moved in. Everybody thought we were loaded because we were the white family.
Yeah,
in the mansion,
in a real black neighborhood.
Yeah,
yeah,
very black, like New Orleans black, and this is like the '90s when shit was dicey.
Yeah.
And there wasn't like BLM or equality. It was just like, who are you? You look different than me. It was like the prison yard, So, I got fucked with all the time. And then we got a nanny because my parents had to work so much to keep the place afloat and like keep fixing it and contractors and all this. So we got a nanny, and it was a big black guy with a wig on and high heels. He was a burlesque dancer.
Wow.
So he was.
So what is it? I don't know. Trans.
I think it's transvestite.
Transvestite. Is that still?
I don't know what's allowed anymore. I don't. You can't.
Intersex.
It's all kooky.
Homosex.
You can't say colored people. You can say people of color. The rules are silly. There's no such thing as gender, but the future is female. I can't keep up. What are we doing here? Just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So then. So we had Enos, that was his name, big black guy wig, and he like taught me everything because he was like my dad now. Yeah. Ironically, he's a black guy.
Was he like
wig.
one of the buff?
Big black guy, big dude,
yeah.
And just high heels, and he taught me how to like drive and shave and fight and take a girl out. He's like put the seat up and all this shit. And I was like, all right. So he was like my guy. He was like my mentor, I guess. I don't know. I was 7, but then we had to make the back half of the house. This is how big the house is. There was so much house, we could lose the back of it and make that a bed and breakfast. And that was, like, weird. My mom's whipping up French toast in the kitchen. I'm eating, horse shit, Cheerios or grits. And then, it's Chinese businessmen and musicians at breakfast every morning and just weird. And it was pre-Airbnb, and we lived right by the French Quarter. So we had, like, a hot location, even though it was a dicey area. But, and it was just, that was life. And it wasn't that weird. I was a kid, so you just go with it.
Have you gone past it? What is it now?
It's beautiful now. These 2 gay guys bought it, and now it's, like, immaculate. They were, like, had the money and the time, and really, they don't have any kids, so they could really sit in it and work on it.
So did you survive Katrina?
Yeah. We by the time Katrina had hit, that was 2005, and I was in college, and my parents moved to this other neighborhood, a little better neighborhood. And the house it's an old neighborhood that was built higher.
So it wasn't flooded.
There was some roof shit, and, the fridge was fucked because you lost power for 2 weeks, so your fridge is just ruined.
Yeah.
Because all the food goes bad. But, we were all right. But I had some friends. I remember I went to their house, and, like, the living room couch would be in the upstairs bedroom just because the swishing and water and waves and all that, and lost everything. Like, just a pile of rubble and wet, moldy. Photo albums. It was brutal.
Did you have a lot of friends that lost everything?
I did, yeah. And there's a neighborhood in New Orleans called Lakeview, and it's right by the lake. And all those people just got hit hard because the water just came from the lake all over the neighborhood, and brutal. And that was like a nice neighborhood too, so they got fucked.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was a tough time.
Yeah.
But now New Orleans is weird because after that it was like this weird enema hit New Orleans and like flushed out all this shit. And all these poor people had to move out because the projects got ruined, so they had to go to Texas. So, like, crime got better. All kinds of weird shit happened. Then this university opened in New Orleans, and all these young people came and, like, started fixing up the old bad. Like, I go to places in my old city, New Orleans, where it was, like, you couldn't walk through there. And now I see, like, cupcake shops and, froyo and all that's, like, these hipsters, man. They got balls.
Yeah. Yeah, do you feel like in some ways it traumatized you in a good way or in a bad way? Living through all of that experiences, like moving to a city like New York, especially like now, I don't know, it's probably in a bad place now because of fucking COVID, but in 2007, 2008, it was like kind of the last real New York.
It was scary.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I got mugged a few times just in 1 year. I was also a fucking blackout. So I was
also, what happened to your hog? Did you get it?
I'm too scared to go to the DMV or the impound because I'm scared it's not going to be in there. So it's this weird thing where I can't face the fact if it was stolen, I won't be able to live with myself because I've had so many things stolen from me that it crushes me.
Yeah,
and
it's the worst feeling in the world.
Worst feeling. Just somebody.
I've gotten robbed by my friends, man.
What?
Yeah, I let this kid live with me. Broke into my dad's car, stole $600.
What?
Yeah, motherfuckers are awful, dude.
Wow, that's horrible.
My dad used to drive him to baseball practice, because he got kicked out of his own parents' home for
this guy's he's going nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, he friend requested me like a year ago, and I was like, delete.
Yeah. How about this? I'll accept for $600, bitch. Jesus, what a douche.
Yeah, huge douche. So then, now, man, what? And then the success you've had, and at any point, I imagine maybe some teams, WME, fucking try to get you to go to L.A. What kept you in New York?
I just love it here. I know that everybody's like, the New York is dead, it's over, but I just like
the guy who wrote that article is a fucking loser. I love how Seinfeld fired back.
That was great.
Yeah.
Good one, Jerry.
Yeah.
He had a good point. He had two great points where he said, what about London? What about Moscow? What about Amsterdam? Are they fucked? Why is it just New York? And then he said, people, because the other guy kept saying, the offices, it's all offices, so why would anyone work here? We can Zoom from home. But you still got to be together. Look, we're together, and it helps. It's a better podcast when you're together.
Totally.
Listen to that, Joe List. And it's a better podcast.
Yeah, Joe.
But look at Silicon Valley. They got all the technology in the world. They can Zoom, they can call, they can do whatever the hell they want, internet, FaceTime, webcam, but they still work in the same place.
Yeah.
They still work in Silicon Valley, all those tech companies. So what does that tell you? It tells you people got to be around people. It's all about the energy. It's all about the vibe, and you can't get a vibe on Zoom.
No.
Zoom is phone sex.
Yeah.
We're trying to get laid here.
I know. Please.
Yes.
DM us.
Yes. This guy's horny. It's coming out of his eyes.
Yeah.
Help him out.
But so tell me, man, then being here and being a New Yorker true and through, were you getting to the point when things started doing well that you were doing like 4 of those clubs, like Caroline's, then down to the Cellar, then back up to Gotham?
Definitely. After about 8, 9 years, it was really cooking. I was doing 4 or 5 sets a night, all clubs. If I wanted to, I would jump on a bar show, had a bunch of credits, late nights and half hours and hours and whatever it was. And I just want to be good at this. There's a lot of guys and gals who I've met who are like, you got to get me on Colbert. Give me that fucking email. Who's the booker? And I'm like, but you suck.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go on and suck? Because they just think I need the credit. I need the credential. And then from there, I can put that on a poster. Then people come see me. I'm like, yeah, but I get it. It's good short term. But then people come see you. They go, this guy sucks. And then you're done.
Yeah.
So why would you want to do that? But they just want that credential. But the credential doesn't mean anything if you're not good.
Well, I think it all goes down to the fucking social media instant gratification. Everyone thinks they deserve everything.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But it's like saying, hey, I want to be able to say I fucked 1 million girls, but it doesn't matter if you're a rapist.
Yeah.
You got to earn the girls. That's the cool guy, the guy who women want to fuck.
Yeah.
You got to earn it.
Yeah,
you can't just
totally.
be like, I'm going to bully my way into getting a Colbert credit or a Comedy Central, whatever.
So even in the, it sounds like you think it was not a horrible job, which is awesome because I was pretty much a janitor. I bar backed for years.
Oh, that's a
and
tough
just
gig.
Throwing, throw up and piss and shit
racks
and
of
and
the mats.
Yeah,
The mats.
yeah,
Yeah, I've done all that.
Just get fucking wasted to survive it. Yeah,
that's
so
it.
What buoyed you, during those early days to keep going? Because I feel like now so many people, especially during the fucking pandemic, comedy is Zoom or it's harder for young comics to find their way.
Sure,
I guess.
It was really hard. I mean, just many nights of like walking home and being like, "Is this stupid? What am I doing? This is crazy." You got kind of a buzz going because you get drink tickets at all these places. So I would just drink as much as I could at every show I did that night. And then by the end of the night, I was drunk, and that was like my treat.
Oh wow!
But just a lot of nights of like, is this stupid? Like, I know friends with healthcare and children and homes and cars, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then I got this big back pocket full of notes of jokes. Like, I'm trying to make it on, what the fuck am I doing? This is so stupid. But I had zero going on. I had no prospects. I had no plan B. So I just kept going. And I dig the lifestyle. It's a very adventure-y, variety of life. You know, you never know what's going to happen. Like last night I did a show in Long Island, 3 hours out. I'm wearing a suit. I'm walking to this gig in the forest.
Is this like a corporate gig?
It was a wedding.
Oh, wow.
A guy was a fan. He's like, I want to surprise my wedding party with a set. And I'm like, this is going to go bad, but he's paying well. All right. It was in Stony Brook, Long Island. Took 3 trains to get there. I'm in a suit. I decide to walk from the train station. It's a 15-minute walk. It's through the forest because it's in like a cabin-y kind of resort.
Oh, okay.
Forest. I come face-to-face with a deer. He's got huge antlers. We're looking at each other. I'm going, hey, all right. I'm trying to scare it. It won't move, just staring at me. I'm doing like, ah! It's just me and a deer on a path. They're staring at each other, and I got my GPS out. I'm waving. Finally, the deer runs away. It was terrifying, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell jokes, and I'm in the forest with a deer, and I'm wearing a suit, and I finally get to the wedding, and it was great. It was fun, and I had a bunch of cake and booze and whatever, and I walked back and made the train, and I got home at 3 a.m, but I like that in a weird way. It's adventure. It's different. It's never the same. It's unpredictable. It's exciting. And the opposite of that is a cubicle.
Yeah, and the thing I love so much about you and your work ethic is you love to work, man. Like you know what I mean? Like you're not a cunt. You know, and there's so many cunts in this business.
Well, I mean, you just sit down all day. The sad thoughts start coming in.
Yeah.
I want to get out there. I want to work, and I want to create. I got a big I'm going to die one day thing in my head. That's a constant reminder. You're going to die. So, you know, there's people like, today was a great day, put my feet up, watched 12 hours of Netflix, ordered in, you know, had a bowl of ice cream, got my feet rubbed or whatever, jerked off. And I'm like, that's brutal. You created nothing. I mean, I get it. You need breaks and you got to live your life and all that. But, like, I don't know, man. I think it's better to work. At least something's happening. Your juices are flowing. I think you'll live longer. You know those people who, like, they get fired and they just end up dying because they have no That's why COVID is fucking us so bad, because no one has any drive, no one has any goal. We're just like, oh, I guess we have to stay in and quarantine. But you need even if you're Zooming or doing a podcast or learning the piano or jump roping, just do something. Have a goal. Have something to go towards.
Yeah, totally, man. I'm curious, you know.
Sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, please, dude. This is what I fucking want you here for, man. You know, going back to like 2016, probably 2017 when the Me Too thing happened and the pendulum understandably went from here more so to here, and now it's all the way over here with PC identity politics and everyone just wanting to fucking cancel people, you know?
Sure.
How have you stayed, because I love your jokes and you stay true to what's Mark and your brand, and how has that been with, like, you know, fucking everyone being a snowflake now?
Well, it's tough, but I think it's a more of a societal problem, because people like to talk about, oh, it's comedy, but it's just very strange when you bring it up and people get angry. They're like, oh, here we go, fucking, cancel culture's not real. What are you talking about? You're like, well, I get it that, like, we're trying to be better, we're trying to be less racist and less sexist and have everyone be equal and all that, and that's all great. In the name of progress, I think they mean well, but I think they get addicted to that feeling of doing well.
Yeah.
And it's always the people who have some kind of internal strife going on, and then they gotta fuck you over so they feel better. Hey, we stopped that racist. I feel better. How cool am I? I'm a hero. But you're like, that guy's not racist. His wife's black.
Yeah.
You know, and they go, oh, whatever. You're like, what do you mean, whatever? You got to go, no, I'm sorry. I thought you hated racism. I told you his wife's black, and now you're just going, whatever? No, you were wrong. But they want to get you so bad, and it makes them feel better. And, like, I know a guy, but he got caught saying some racial slurs on a recording.
The SNL dude?
No, well, that's a whole other bag of hammers. But this guy, this is not a famous person.
Okay.
And he got caught saying this shit at school. It went all out there, and he dated this black chick, and then he got mad at her and started cursing her out and saying horrible things, and it went viral or whatever. So he's labeled a racist, but he was gay, and he was, like, dealing with that. He didn't want to come out, so he just was flipped out on her, and that was kind of how he had an outlet with it and whatever. And she's like, I know he's not a racist. We dated. Like, we dated for a couple of years. Like, I know he's just gay, and he didn't know how to deal with it, so he yelled at me and said the worst things he could. And you're like, that's what it's all about. It's all about something in here. You know, these people who do these fucked up things like that. But he's just labeled a racist for the rest of his life because that audio is out there.
Yeah.
And he's not. He just was trying to hurt her.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at. And no one can see that nuance shit. And she gets it, and she's black.
Yeah.
So it's this weird thing where everybody just wants to be a hero so bad, and we want justice and da-da-da. But, like, nuance still exists, and two things can be true, and no one wants to agree on that. And then we can't discuss anything, or you'll get called a racist. You're like, I'm just trying to discuss and have a conversation, but everybody wants to be right so bad that they don't want to let you have the conversation, so we don't get anywhere. It'd be like if I said, hey, this pipe is leaking. You go, whoa, you got a problem with pipes? Well, we got to fix the pipe. Oh, somebody hates pipes. I'm like, I just want to fix it.
I'll pipe you, Mark.
Like, by that logic, we'll just be like, then everybody goes, all right, I'm done. Let it leak. Fuck it. And now we just have a leak forever. And so I think discussion is gone and ruined. And with comedy, it's tough because anybody can perceive something their own way. Bill Burr's got that great line where he says, everything I say is now cut with your childhood and your bullshit. And that's how you thought it. You perceived it. But I didn't mean it that way. That's just how you took it. But that's now just gospel. Oh, the way I feel is what you meant. And you're like, no, that's not true. But also, we live in a very manicured world now. You go to Tinder, you're like, she's too fat, she's too short, she's too what? Swipe. Women go, he's not tall enough. I like brown hair. He's balding. Fuck him. Every meal is like, I want gluten-free, cage-fresh, free range, whatever the fuck. So everything we do is chosen. We get everything exactly how we want it, and then somebody hears a comedy set and they go, I didn't order that. That wasn't what I wanted. Like, that went into my ear, and I'm a vegetarian. You put a beef in my ear, and I can't have that. So I want this guy fired. And then you're like, well, why? It's a very entitled thought of like, okay, you don't like something, so that doesn't mean it should cease to exist.
Yeah.
It should mean you got to go, all right, this is not for me, I'm out.
Yeah.
There's plenty of comedians I think suck, but I don't want them to end. I don't want them to not be able to have a job. I just go, it's not for me, and move on.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I feel like, especially with actors that didn't do like Weinstein-type shit, but get canceled for kind of like, I get it.
Creepy
but
shit.
Yeah. It's like, I've seen actors who haven't made it that are the ones that are the most like excited for them to be taken down.
Yes,
you feel the same way
there's
about
a lot of that.
bitter comedians, you know?
I think I would be ruined if I was famous. Like, I'm not famous yet, or I might never be, but
oh, dude,
I'm not a household name. I mean, I'm nobody. I appreciate the whole thing, but I'm nobody, and I think if I was, I would be a target.
But do you think, talk to me honestly about, I guess self-curating or would you ever change if you did get to that level because you couldn't be your honest, like, joke self?
No, and I don't know if I want to get to that. I would never want to be a Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's how I feel about acting. I just want to work,
Yeah, same. I just want to, I want to have my crew of people who go, oh, he's coming to Philly or St. Louis? Let's go. Fill up the room. I'd like to sell out. And, shake hands, take photos, and go home.
Yeah.
I don't want to be at the Oscars. I don't want to be on TV doing Everybody Loves Raymond. Like, I feel like you just got a target on your back. Like, people are like, all right, how do we get him? How do we get him?
Yeah.
And this shit has been happening since the dawn of time. Like, this isn't new. Canceling, it used to be they put you in the stocks, in the middle of the town. They throw cabbages at you or tomatoes.
Stones or,
The Scarlet Letter. Or put the A on her. She's got to walk through town. Everybody throwing jizz on her and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's not new. This is all the same shit, but you'd think we've come so far with technology and socially that it's weird that the people who want to end injustice are the meanest people tend to be. It's kind of like Cosby. You watch Cosby, he's like, pull your pants up, don't curse, speak English, get your act together, and then he's a fucking rapist.
Yeah.
Everybody evens out. I've noticed the people who are the biggest activisty, we got to change the world, they're like, they want to ruin some guy's life so bad. You're like, don't you realize that's mean? Where's the compassion there? And they go, they have this weird system where they're like, he did one thing wrong, which gives me carte blanche to be the biggest piece of shit ever and the cruelest person ever. And you're like, he didn't do anything that bad. Like a murderer goes to jail for 30 years. He gets out. We go, you did your time. You're good to go. Here's a job at Walmart. This guy does some weird thing or this lady does some weird thing, and then we just hate him forever. It doesn't make sense.
No, it's fucking wrong.
We need rules. It is wrong.
Yeah.
And I think the silent majority agrees with us, but everybody's like
too afraid to be honest about that.
I'm not getting into that. I got a good job with dental. I'm not gonna fucking back this guy up.
Yeah, I know, man. It's horrible to say that, but I'm curious. Let's go back to out to lunch for a second. Talk to me about the idea of doing it on your own, because I think that's the future of content.
I think so too.
It's like you can go to Netflix, fucking UJizz, YouPorn,
Yeah.
HBO Go, HBO Max, whatever.
Yeah.
And even people I know that are like Ridley Scott are struggling.
Is that right?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's just that dark. You know what I mean?
Wow.
No one wants to take a bet on anything unless it's a sure thing. But nothing's a fucking sure thing.
No, that's kind of the cool thing about this business. That's art.
Yeah.
You go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's scary about the canceling is like, okay, great, you call me a homophobe because of a gay joke I made. But when a comic or an artist or a screenwriter starts going, oh, this is a good, I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
Yeah, that's Orwellian. Everything he wrote.
That's when we're screwed.
Yeah.
What's his name? Phillips. What's the guy who did Joker?
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix?
No, the director.
Todd Phillips?
Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
He did The Hangover. He did Road Trip. He did something else. He had 3 killer comedies out of the gate. No one had heard of this guy. Just boom, out of the gate, directed and wrote these killer comedy. Old school.
Old school.
Yeah.
And the Gigi Allen documentary, which is fucking nuts.
Oh, I've never seen that.
That's the one where he got his career. You know Gigi Allen, right?
Yeah.
He did it at Sundance, and that got him connect to
really?
Ivan Reitman. And then Jason Reitman was a fan and was like, hey, man, you should do like a buddy comedy.
Wow.
Like redo, I can't remember what movie it was, and that was Road Trip. And Ivan Reitman produced that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
Yeah, it was great. I had fucking Tom Green back.
Yeah.
I also heard they just passed on a Tom Green special. I'm like, what the fuck? That guy gave the Jackass guys the way to.
I know. He changed MTV pretty much. But that's what I'm saying. So they said, you're going to make another comedy. You made these amazing comedies that made so much money. They made 3 Hangovers, for Christ's sake. And he goes, no, I can't. It's too PC.
Yeah.
And then he put that tweet went out there, that clip or whatever, and everybody attacked him like, oh, here we go. Oh, and it's like, that's how he feels. And now you're attacking him, so you're proving his point.
Yeah.
Like, you're so mean.
Well,
you
they even
fucking
tried doing
assholes.
that with Joker. Like, what's it called? Like incels.
Oh,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
They were
yeah.
trying to cancel it because it was disrespectful to incels.
I know. And I get it. It's incels are bad, and we all hate them and all that. But like, let the man work.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
That's art.
It's art, and that's what he does. And he thinks you guys are going to yell at him for doing this, and then he just said that, and then you yelled at him anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, Jesus Christ. I just don't get why if a person goes, I feel threatened, you go, hey, we got to respect that. But if a guy goes, I feel threatened by you guys yelling at me, we go, shut up, you pussy. You're a millionaire. Blow me. And you're like, well, how come he can't have a feeling?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. It seems very lopsided, and something's off, and I hope the fever breaks at some point.
Me too, man. So when you were doing Out to Lunch and you kind of realized that you had to do this on your own, was that a scary move for you?
Oh, yeah. Terrifying. I mean, it was devastating. Like, Comedy Central was like, we're interested. And that was for Comedy Central.
And you did
YouTube.
that one where Amy Schumer introduces you for Comedy Central,
yeah,
right?
That was 2016, and she produced it, so that's the only reason they did it, because they had her name on it. That's showbiz. Again, sure thing. They can. They don't have to take a risk.
Yeah.
Even though nobody watched it anyway. But
my dad and I love it.
Thanks. I was terrified. I might have been too green for that, but
no, dude, you were great, man.
Oh, you're very nice.
You're two in your head, brother. You're like me.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I did. Everybody said no. I shot it, and I kept shooting it over and over, like at comedy clubs. They usually have like a rig with a camera.
Was the final product multiple comedy clubs?
No. But I would go, this is it. Here's a DVD, or here's a stick with the hour on it, Netflix, and they kept saying no, and who are you? Why would we help you out?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it'd be one thing if you were in a wheelchair or trans or whatever, but I'm like, I'm nobody, and I get that. That's fine. So they kept saying no. So I kept. Let me run it for another 6 months. Maybe I'll tweak it and get it better, get it tighter, add new jokes. 6 months, a year, 2 year, 3 year. Now I'm doing the same set for 4 years. I'm going back to Cleveland. They go, hey, we like you, but we saw the set 2 years ago. And I'm like, you're right. I got to put this thing down. I got to, film it. So nobody would do it. finally I said, hey, Comedy Central YouTube, that's where I'm at. It pays like, a couple grand. Will you buy this and put on your YouTube channel if I shoot it? And they're like, okay, if you shoot it, we'll do it. And I go, great. Shot it, gave it to them, and they go, we don't like it.
What?
And I was like, and it was such a devastating phone call with my agent. She was like, yeah, they're not going for it. I'm sorry. I thought they were. They said they would, but we didn't sign anything. I was like, oh my God. So I'm like, fuck it. Let's just put it on YouTube. And so I learned how to like build up a YouTube. I had to call the YouTube guy. We had all these conversations.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you do it. You got to have a premiere, get a trailer going, get a countdown and this and that. So I went out into Times Square, shot a trailer. I cut this whole thing together.
Oh, that was like the one you shot like right as COVID started.
Yeah, on the Hog in
on the
Times
Hog.
Square.
I love that. That was great.
That was fun. That was at 6 a.m. just to make sure nobody was out there.
You don't ever get that kind of New York. And,
exactly.
Vanilla Sky style.
Exactly. Yeah. So just put everything I had into it: money, time, ideas. Sat down with it, and then it came out, and Rogan tweeted it, Bill Burr tweeted it, Kreischer, Gaffigan, Judd Apatow, all these people, Schumer, all these people pushed it. And now it's over 3 million.
Yeah.
So we're cooking.
That's amazing, man. And I'm so proud of you for doing that,
Thanks.
because it's just, I know what it's like to take a fucking bet on yourself and hope that it all works out.
I know, and especially guys like us where we don't bet on ourselves.
Hell no. I got my therapist telling me, be better about yourself.
You don't pick who you fall in love with. And I didn't fall in love with me.
So then talk to me about, you put this set out and then COVID happens, but you still want to do comedy. And then how do you kind of start introducing new jokes? I know at first when things were okay in Texas, weren't you doing some things down there?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Basically, I put the special out I shot it in late January. So then I realized, okay, this is going to come out in May or whatever.
Yeah.
It takes time to edit and all that. So it's going to come out in May, so I got like 2-3 months to just really build an act.
Yeah.
When this comes out, I can't do any of this material because people will come see me and go, oh, we saw this on Out to Lunch. So fuck this guy.
The trigger word is like my all-time favorite joke.
Oh, thanks. I remember running that by comics. They were like, I don't know. It's a pun. I'm like, yeah, but it's
and
fun.
they keep it, leave it, abortion joke.
Oh, thanks.
Dude.
So I just built up like 20, 25 minutes in like 2.5 months. And
just trial by fire, just going out.
Just trying this, trying that. That works. Keep it. Okay, that's out. That's in. Just build. A second here, 2 seconds there, whatever. So I built like 25 minutes, and now I have about 45 because I've been still doing the road a little bit, outdoor shows, rooftops, whatever it is. So I built about 45 so I can headline now. So now I'm headlining with a whole new 45.
In states that are allowing?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'm excited about Connecticut. Will that be 45?
That'll be all new.
Oh, fuck
new to
yeah,
you.
man. I can't wait.
Yeah, so that's what it's all about. Just keep going. That's why it also hurts so much when you see this hack nobody get a special because you're just like, damn. The things I'm doing, like, I don't think that person is sitting there going, this tag isn't working. I gotta tweak that and maybe change that joke because it's not getting the laugh I want. The ending isn't hitting that big, so I gotta fix it for the end to hit bigger because that's the big crescendo. Whatever it is, and I know they're not worried about that. I know they're not writing. I know they're not thinking about it, but that's the shit that stings. Where you're like, God damn! If they knew how much I slaved over this. But that's why the views feel so good.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. And then I'm curious, did you get any retroactive phone calls?
I did, yeah. And you're like, God, I'm the same guy.
Yeah!
Fucking twats.
Yeah.
But, COVID.
Yeah.
So we're waiting.
So talk to me about, like, at least the New York comedy scene. Do you think, I don't want to get bleak, but do you think, the Cellar and Caroline's and Gotham will be something?
Well, there's 11 clubs in New York, and I'm sure 3 will close.
For good.
I think, yeah, because it's such a big real estate
I heard
patch.
about that from Gotham. I have a friend who's one of the owners.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's the economics aren't sustainable for the rent that they have to pay. Yeah, I mean, I hope the Cellar's locked into like some sweet lease because they've been there for so long.
Right.
But all those motherfuckers that have landlords that are like, yeah, your rent's $35,000 a month, and we're not accepting I don't have the money, don't pay.
Right.
Except there's a fucking Victoria's Secret down the street.
Yeah.
Their rent's $900,000 a month, and they haven't paid at all, and they're gonna get away with it.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's boarded up.
Damn.
Fucking corporations,
that's the key. Yeah, comedy clubs, they're not essential, I guess. But, man, Gotham's one of the greats.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, man. Talk to me, though, you've had such amazing success and coming from someone, being a fan of Jerry Seinfeld to opening for him.
Oh, it's unreal, man.
What does that feel like?
Well, I used to watch this movie Comedian. I don't know if it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's a documentary about Seinfeld's trying to get back into stage work after doing the TV show, and he meets Cosby for the first time, and that's like his idol. Back before everything.
The pill Cosby.
Yeah. Good Cosby,
Yeah.
Sweater Cosby, Kodak, Pudding Pop. And he has this moment in a car where he's driving there. He's like, I can't believe life is so long that I used to sit in the 60s in Long Island listening to his records.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to meet the guy. I can't believe life is that long that all those things can happen to get me here. And I feel the same way. I can't believe I went from sitting on my floor in the living room in New Orleans at my parents' house watching yada, 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 and, not that there's anything wrong with that, and Man Hands and all that shit, Soup Nazi, and then going to all this fucking Brooklyn, mugged, bed bugs, landlord dying of AIDS, meeting Schumer, being broke, doing this, doing that, all the way, kept going to meeting him. It's insane.
Yeah.
The whole thing's insane. And I think he saw me on The Tonight Show. Because
that was because you have to do a cleaner one on
yes.
that. He's a clean guy.
He's a clean guy.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a suit. I'm doing the Tonight Show, and I think he's like, oh, I like this guy. And then I knew Amy. He knows Amy. He said, oh, what's up with this guy? She goes, oh, I know him. You open for me. He's like, So then I bumped into him, and it all just clicked. I mean, it was just so many nights of just grinding it out, and then one night just worked, and he said, let's go hang out. We chatted for like an hour and a half.
You went to that sweet spot under the bridge on Hillsky. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I used to live at 43rd and 11th. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. I know that spot well.
Yeah, I'm just shitting myself the whole time, just trying to keep it together. And we exchanged numbers. And then, I don't know, a couple of months later, he's like, you want to open for me?
You did the Beacon shows.
Did the Beacon. 4 shows. Yeah, one weekend. It was unreal.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love your story about the clock not being there and then having to go out and double back.
I put that on YouTube. It got 50,000 hits in a day, and I took it off because I was like, if he hears this, I'm going to feel horrible.
Oh, shit.
So I made it private, but maybe I'll make it. When he dies, I'll make it back. I'll put it back up.
So I'm curious, man, when you're doing something like that and, his demographic is, like you said on, maybe it was like the Sam Norton show that you got heckled by some fucking Long Island douchebag,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I know.
Whoever you are, I'm going to find you.
At the Beacon. I made it to the top of the mountain, and I still get heckled by some fucking mook.
Yeah. So then do you have to kind of change your material to fit into the Seinfeld?
Totally.
Yeah.
Because you want to go, hey, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. You piece of shit. What are you doing? How'd you get in here? But you got to go, hey, you crazy jerk, because you got to be clean.
Yeah.
So it kind of had you handicapped a little bit, but, I still zinged him.
Yeah. So I'm curious, this podcast kind of aims to inspire artists for, the comedians that are wanting to do this one day. What advice would you have for them? Because like the world that you and I existed in 2008, it was like right before capitalism destroyed New York City.
Sure.
And now maybe, I don't know if it's going to go back down and be affordable again, but who fucking knows?
Right.
Like, what advice would you have for, those kind of Mark Normans out there that are, wide-eyed, dropped out of college and are trying to figure it out?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, COVID changes everything, but I moved here in 07, and the whole crash happened in 08, and I just kept going. I mean, I think if you really want it, you keep going. I did one of these Gotham, R.I.P., I hope not.
Yeah.
Had they do this thing for young comics who are starting out where they sit and talk to a headliner and ask them questions. And so I did one. And it was all these nice young people. Some guys are in suits, some nice young ladies, whatever. And they're like, I want to do comedy, but I got a dog. And, I got a full-time job, so I get home and I'm wiped. And then you got to do sets at night. How do you get an agent? And I'm like, oh, you're out. You're already out.
Yeah.
You don't want it. You don't want it that bad. If you were like, oh, I want to get laid, but I got to take a girl out to dinner. I'm like, then you don't really want to get laid. You're not that horny. So it's the same thing with comedy. I feel like you got to want it. And if you don't want it, just move on. Do it as a hobby or whatever, but it's going to ruin your life. And it's going to ruin, you're going to take stage time from other comics. But do it as a hobby and don't call yourself a comic. But if you really want it, just figure it out. I mean, look with the out to lunch. I want it. So I shot it myself and spent thousands of dollars and booked a theater and knocked it out and paid an editor and all this shit. You got to want it, and This is the new version of wanting it for guys at my level. Just putting it on YouTube, building content, building a following, having a mailing list, all that shit, because no one else, the networks aren't throwing me a bone. So you got to do that at your level. Go to every open mic, start your own show, do a rooftop, figure it out, email people, book stuff, book bigger guys, tell your friends, get the word out, the whole thing. So you got to want it and you got to work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Everybody goes, hey, you do an hour a night? Boy, that's a nice job. Then you get a fat paycheck. I'm like, yeah, but I also gave up my 20s.
Yeah.
And 10 years and failed and cried and, humiliated myself.
Yeah.
So there's
Same
that
here.
too. Yeah, exactly.
So tell me, man, do you remember the day when you finally were like, I don't have to work a survival job anymore?
Yeah, I do. It was very exciting. Quitting my day job felt better than anything else because it was real. Like, oh, you do Carnegie Hall, that's fucking awesome, but it's just a blip. But the quitting the day job, like, well, this is a milestone.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I want to tell young comics or artists or whoever. Realize you suck. There's a lot of big egos out there that'll never get anywhere because they go, I'm great. Why would I work at it? Why would I try too hard? Why would I write? I'm great. But you're not. And you knowing you're not great is better than being great because it'll make you keep going. I mean, look at a guy like Dave Attell. He's like the funniest guy on the planet. He's like a comedic genius, savant, joke writer.
Yeah.
He thinks he sucks.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a hack. I suck. I can't write a joke. I'm like, you've got the best jokes on the planet.
Yeah,
But that's why he has the best jokes on the planet. So people need to realize, like, God, that joke is not working. I see comics go up over and over doing the same act to silence. I'm like, what do you think's going to happen? You think one is just going to click and they're going to love it? It's the same words in the same order at the same timing. Change it up.
Totally.
Mix it up. Try something new. Fail. They're just like, I know these words by heart, so I'm going to say
I think
them.
that's exactly it. As an actor, man, for me, it's always been about failure. Going in those auditions and just being like, well, that fucking sucked dick for a lifetime of coke, but at least I'm doing it,
Exactly. Yeah. That's the key. Is like, we all know that guy who's a 4, but he's like, oh, I'm probably like an 8, 8.5. He's looking in the mirror. You're hideous.
God.
You're a ghoul. You're gross. You're a gargoyle.
Yeah.
But we kind of preach like confidence, fake it till you make it. It's all about, believe it in yourself. No. Don't believe.
Yeah.
Believe that you suck and have to work harder to get there.
Yeah, I think always work harder is the key.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants it now because everyone thinks because they put a YouTube channel up or whatever, they can go fucking viral without any of the legwork that either you or, you've done much more than me, but.
Well, and it's happened. You have the YouTube guys who have just had some spark and made it, but I even see them. They sell out a comedy club on a Tuesday, which is great because it keeps the comedy clubs open, but they go on stage and bomb, and then they take a bunch of photos with people, and then they leave. And I'm like, can that last?
Yeah.
Can that sustain? In 10 years, are you still going to be doing this shit?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I just think it's like winning the lottery being one of these people. So if you whatever you have control of, do that. You don't really have control of, am I going to go viral? We've all tried to go viral. You can never predict what's going to go viral.
Totally.
Which is kind of cool about it. But you got to just try and work and fail and try it again and keep going. We got one life. You're on life. That's the other thing is that we're all looking for that golden nugget at the end of the rainbow. But the journey is really the cool part.
Yeah.
Because once you get to the nugget, you go, now what?
Yeah.
I got to the nugget. Then you start doing heroin because you need that fix. But the journey is the cool part. Like last night, I was face-to-face with a deer with huge antlers and a forest.
Oh, that was last night?
That was last night.
No shit.
Yeah, I came back on the LIRR. I got home at 1 and 3 in the morning, and I'm like, that was fucking wild.
Yeah.
What a night. I came home, I tell my girlfriend, she's like, wow, this is crazy. Holy shit. I saw a fist fight at the bar, and I was like, this is what it's all about. That's why Tuesdays, the podcast is so fun, because it's like this audio journal of everything we've done. I'll pop back into 2015. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that night at that bar where I bombed and the guy took a swing at me and I ducked and kicked him in the balls. I forgot all about that. That's the fun part is the journey.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing, man. Well, tell me, what's up? I know I'm coming to see you Sunday, but what's coming up for Mark Norman?
Oh, well, new material, new videos. I'm telling you, I'm getting hit up by all these young people who are ambitious. There's still some people, some drive out there, and they're hit me up about this. And these guys.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah,
it means the world. Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And I'm putting tons of videos out, and I'm pitching some shows. One might sell. Feeling pretty good about it. Yeah, it'd be nice to just get some money. I just bought a car. I bought an antique car.
Yeah, I heard that.
So
are you going to get another hog, or are you going to let that go?
I'm going to suck up and fucking walk my ass down to that impound and hopefully
at
there.
fucking Chelsea Piers.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Been there many times, and if it ain't there,
I just got hit with a $600 fee for a fucking Revel that got towed.
Oh, come on.
I know. I'm never using the service again.
Nah,
so fuck you, Revel.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your own hog.
Yeah, how much does that cost?
I spent like $1,200 on it.
What?
Craigslist.
Ugh, I'm gonna have to get that hog.
It changed my life.
Do you need a Class M for that? Or
nah, you got to get a plate.
But
that's like $30.
Well, dude, Mark Norman, man, you are the future of comedy.
Oh boy,
I have so much belief in you, man, and it means so much from the bottom of my heart that you came on to give back, and I'd love to do it again soon.
Sure,
when this shit's not crazy. And dude, I fucking love you.
Oh, come
Mark
on.
Norman. What's your Instagram handle?
Mark Normand, and Twitter is @MarkNorm, and MarkNormanComedy.com.
And Tuesdays with Stories with him and Joe List.
Yes, good save.
All right, Mark Norman, thank you so much for being here. I love you, brother.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the gifts.
Yeah.
Praise Allah.
Allah. Let's go. I am thrilled to announce that An Actor Despairs is partnering with a wonderful CBD company called Kind Farms. Everyone out there has heard of CBD. I started taking it a few years ago when I first started getting sober and to help with my anxiety. Sadly, as one can do, I was overtraining in the gym, and a friend recommended a topical and a tincture to help with the pain. I tried it. It was okay. However, recently, I was introduced to a product that has really changed my life. Not only has it helped me with anxiety, but I am stronger than I have ever been. I'm able to carry out lifts my body used to prevent me from doing. Kind Farm products have single-handedly changed my life athletically and personally. They utilize 100% local licensed farmers, organic cultivation, and CO2 extraction for superior CBD. Kind Farms is turning CBD to a kind alternative to pharmaceuticals. Let's transform Tobacco Row into Hemp Row. If you want to get involved, please reach out. Together, we can make a difference. You can use my code RYAN10 for 10% off. You can find them on Instagram at Kind Farms Inc., all one word. That's KINDPHARMSINC, and their website is kindfarmsinc.com. Once again, my code for 10% off is RYAN10.